And hello and welcome to Scalino's Field on the campus of Cal Poly Pomona. So glad you have joined us for this first game of a doubleheader featuring the Inland Valley Pirates taking on the High Desert Heat. This, of course, is an SCCBL league matchup. So both games today very, very important in the standings. Pirates come in 17-5 overall, 8-4 in league play. Meanwhile, the High Desert Heat are 6-6, and they are 3-5 in league. And that 3-5 record is a little deceptive. This is a much better team than that. But if they get swept here today, they are going to be out of the playoff race at 3-7. They would have a long, long, hard road ahead to try to get back into the playoff race, especially considering 4 of their remaining games are against the Palm Springs Power. And they also have a couple still against the Bucks. The Bucks playing a lot better as of late, winning a laugher, really, an 11-2 game on Monday. And then on Tuesday, against the Legends, it was a tie game, 1-1. Just had to step away for a little bit, a second right there, as we were met by one of the Heat's coach, Coach Kelly, asking for the lineup, because I had his lineup, and I guess he has to distribute it to the Pirates here to make sure that everybody is batting in the right order, or I don't know, he's going to keep it himself. So I guess he just wanted it for himself. We'll get you the starting lineups and defensive arrangements very, very shortly. The first game was scheduled to start at 2 o'clock. It's 2:04 Pacific time right now. Still working on third base is Charlie Reynoso, the manager for the Pirates. And bringing out some dirt is Kyle Jackson. So we're getting a little extra field work done right here before the first game of the doubleheader. We figure to see some great pitching matchups throughout the day for both the Pirates and the Heat. It was just announced that Andrew Alvarez is the pitcher of the month for the Pirates. So we will see him starting Game 2 of the doubleheader. Here in Game 1, we'll see Michael Koval, who has pitched very well as well. And we'll also see Jordan Sheffs most likely in Game 1. We also figure to see Cody Arott, who has been very, very strong as well. So really, the top 4 pitchers are going to be in action here today for the Pirates. Meanwhile, for the Heat, they have another guy who's been kind of in the running for Pitcher of the Year. We'll see him in Game 2. His name is Adam Quintana. And he was actually the SCCBL Pitcher of the Year in 2012. So a really, really talented pitcher, really good pitcher for them. In this game, though, Greg Turner will get the nod. Turner, he goes a lot of innings normally when he pitches. And he's a guy that only allowed 1 run against the Palm Springs Power when he played them last year in Palm Springs. So obviously he knows how to deal with and handle pressure situations, playing some of the best teams in this SCCBL. Still a little bit of a delay as we're still getting last-second work on third base as well as now second base. Not quite sure why they're putting more dirt on there, because you figure that as hot as it is here in Pomona, you think, the field shouldn't be that wet or muddy or anything, but it is interesting when I come in here every day. Out in center field, the center field warning track gets very, very muddy, and obviously they must water the grass and the field out there beyond the fence a lot for it to get so muddy. In fact, sometimes at game time, it's still like muddy when they're playing out there in center field. Of course, it is a major drive to get it out to dead center, so we don't see too many players, hitting the ball to the fence in center field. But if we did, we might see some guys slipping and sliding. Today, it's not a problem. I was out there earlier this morning, and it was dried up out there. Here is what the starting lineup will look like for the High Desert Heat. Leading off at second base is Connor Garrison. Batting second in right field, Anthony Aguila. Batting third, the co-hitter of the week in the SCCBL, Caden Glass, the left fielder. Center fielder Sean Smith is cleaning up for the Heat. Batting fifth, Ronnie Leon. Batting sixth, the designated hitter Seth Walston, who won the Home Run Derby last year in 2013. Batting seventh, Sergio Lujan, the first baseman, and a very, very large power-hitting first baseman at that. Batting eighth is Curtis Cloak, the catcher. And last but not least, Mitchell Booman, the shortstop, is batting ninth. Here's what the defense looks like for the Pirates, as we're still working our way towards opening pitch, still getting some last-second field prep from some of the coaches, including Charlie Reynoso and Coach Vic Espinosa. And now Dylan Lowenstein, the catcher, as well, coming out to help them. We figured to see Dylan Lowenstein starting Game 2. Christian Kelly will get the nod here for Game 1. Here is the defensive arrangement for the Inland Valley Pirates. Working left to right across the outfield will be Nolan Henley. Nathan Virgin, and Garlick. The newest member of the Pirates is Kyle Garlick. He is now playing in his second game. His first game he was 1 for 2 on Monday. Left to right across the infield, we've got Johnny Reynoso, Fernando Escobar, Jason Padlo, and Andrew Alvarez, the first baseman, who we mentioned at the top of this broadcast, will be starting Game 2 of the doubleheader and also has been named the SCCBL Pitcher of the Month. Big number 19 headed to Houston Baptist. Obviously a very, very good player, and the Power people were saying pretty much there was nothing they could do about getting one of their players the Pitcher of the Month because Alvarez is certainly the best they've seen all season long. So that's saying a lot, especially from them. Christian Kelly is behind home plate, and Michael Koval is the starting pitcher. So that's kind of what the lineups look like for both sides. As we mentioned, this is an SCCBL doubleheader. Huge implications on the playoffs for the High Desert Heat, who we mentioned come in 3-5 and really need a split at the very least here today to stay in the thick of the hunt. Of course, 3 teams making the playoffs this year. There will be a 2-3 play-in game, and then the number 1 seed will play in a best-of-3 series against the winner of that. This is the first year we've had a 2-3 play-in game. It's always been the top 2 playing a best-of-3 series. But it's nice to see that a third-place team gets involved in the playoff hunt because it's a really good league, and there's lots of really good teams, and there's a lot of teams that felt like maybe they should have been in, had a chance to get in that best-of-3 series over the past couple of years. And this year they will get the opportunity. Pirates coming out of their huddle down that first base line and now take the field here at 2:09 p.m. So we're going to get about an 11-minute late start for Game 1 of the doubleheader, as the men in red are now out on the field. Of course, the Pirates wearing their customary red shirts, red hat, black bill of the hat, black numbers, and white pants. Meanwhile, the High Desert Heat come out in blue shirts, red lettering, and gray pants. And here's Michael Koval getting set to start this game off. Michael Koval has been very, very good for the Inland Valley Pirates this season, and he's another guy that really you could think of as a potential Pitcher of the Month candidate. I mean, you look at these numbers and you listen to these numbers, and the only thing he's kind of missing is wins, which he actually jokingly said to me before the game. He was really excited that he got his first win over in San Diego this past weekend. He went 5 1/3 in that game, 10 strikeouts. Very dominating performance by number 55. Michael Koval, 22 1/3 innings pitched, 30 strikeouts, 1.21 ERA. I mean, you listen to those numbers, and that's kind of under the radar because everybody's kind of talking about Andrew Alvarez around the league and how good he's been. But statistically speaking, other than the wins, Michael Koval has better stats in everything. He has more strikeouts and fewer innings, actually, than Alvarez, and a lesser ERA. That's not to diminish any of the things that Alvarez has done this season. Obviously, Alvarez taking him out against some of the best competition the Pirates have seen all year in the form of Palm Springs Power twice and Team San Diego once. Meanwhile, Koval, we mentioned, had that win against Team San Diego, but has yet to face the Palm Springs Power. And we are just about set to get underway here at about 2:11 for the first game of the doubleheader. 18 innings to come of what should be thrilling baseball between the Heat and Pirates. Both of these teams are really among the top teams in this league. High Desert Heat in their 3rd season, the Pirates in their 2nd season in the SCCBL. And play ball, says the home plate umpire. First pitch, fastball bounced to the right side, foul, and it's 0-1 here to Connor Garrison. Because we had sort of an extended pregame, we'll give you the starting lineup and the defensive alignment again. Starting lineup is Garrison, Aguila, Glass, Smith, Leon, Walston, Lujan, Cloak, and Booman. That, of course, is for the High Desert Heat, and that is their batting order. Fastball misses outside, ball 1. 1-1 the count here for Koval. Meanwhile, on the field, this is what it looks like for the Pirates. Going left to right across the outfield is Henley, Nathan Virgin, and Garlick. Here comes the 1-1 offering. Swan in line, drived into center field for a base hit. So the first man is on board here for the High Desert Heat in the form of Connor Garrison. And the field going left to right, we've got Johnny Reynoso, Escobar, Padlo, Alvarez, and Christian Kelly behind home plate. And, of course, Michael Koval on the mound. Koval was kind of motioning something to Christian Kelly. Maybe he didn't necessarily like the last pitch call. As we now have Anthony Aguila up at the plate, the right fielder, wearing lucky number 13 for the High Desert Heat. Here's the pitch. Swung and bounced over to the right side, right at Andrew Alvarez. He steps on the bag, throws down to second. And did they make the tag? Oh, just beating it is Connor Garrison. Took a long time for the second base umpire to confirm whether or not the tag was applied over there. Nice slide, though, by Connor Garrison, who went head first and kind of tried to go around the tag. And obviously he ended up doing that. And the Heat already have a man in scoring position here in the top of the first inning. No score yet. Just underway from Cal Poly Pomona. Scalinos Field on a very, very hot day. Another very dry day as well in Pomona. And not too much wind to speak of. Time was being called for as Connor Garrison kind of was shaking off the slide where he went head first and maybe kind of banged his fingers a little bit, maybe jammed his fingers a little bit. Fastball overthrown, ball 1-0 the count here to Caden Glass. Caden Glass, the left fielder, co-hitter of the week this week in the SCCBL. Had 4 doubles and 1 home run. So lots of extra base hits. 5 for 9 for the week. Here's the pitch. Swings at this one, grounds it foul down the first base line. And it's 1-1. Caden Glass is a veteran here in the SCCBL, although he's playing on his 3rd team in the SCCBL. Previously, he played for the Diamond Valley Sabres in 2012. In 2013, he played for the Riverside Rebels, and now here he is with the High Desert Heat. Last year, he was an SCCBL All-Star as well for the Riverside Rebels. Koval checks the runner, fires, swung on and missed. Strike 2 to Caden Glass. Glass was injured, though, last year for the All-Star game, so he didn't play in the game, but he actually joined me on commentary for the All-Star game for an inning or two. He's a really funny guy if you get the chance to meet him or get the chance to talk to him a lot. Here's the pitch. 1-2 in the dirt, swung on and missed. Strike 3, and down goes the hitter of the week, Caden Glass, and that'll be the first strikeout here for Michael Koval. Up comes Sean Smith, the center fielder in the cleanup spot for the Heat. Well, earlier in the season when the Bucks played the Heat, Sean Smith was actually in the leadoff spot, and now here he is cleaning up. So obviously he must have been showing a lot of power throughout the course of this summer season. Sean Smith is one of the few guys who got signed as Koval steps off the mound. Nobody covering, though. It actually looked like he kind of had Connor Garrison picked off, but maybe Garrison was kind of picked off because kind of nobody was covering on the base over there. But we were trying to mention that Sean Smith it was Memorial Day, back at the very beginning of the season, participated in the tryouts in Palm Springs. Fastball away, ball 1-0 the count. And one of the few guys to get signed by that tryout, by obviously the High Desert Heat. Michael Koval, 6'1", 175-pound right-handed pitcher, feeling very comfortable on that mound as this one's in there for strike 1-1 the count. Why does he feel so comfortable on that mound? Because he's from Cal Poly Pomona. He is a Bronco. He'll be a sophomore here next season for them. Major is business administration, obviously hoping to go about his business here in this game. Checks the runner at second, no one holding on. Here comes the 1-1. No, he steps off again. So Koval paying a lot of attention to the runner Connor Garrison over at second base. Garrison, another returning player for the High Desert Heat. They have a bunch of returning players, maybe not necessarily for the Heat, but to the league in general. Breaking pitch in the dirt, nice stop by Christian Kelly, and it's 2-1. Koval's hometown is Alta Loma, went to Alta Loma High School. where once again he showed and proved that he was a strikeout pitcher. 65 strikeouts and 60 2/3 innings pitched as a senior there. Also had a 2.77 ERA. And on top of it, a National Honor Society student. Late kick, and here's the pitch. And it's in there on the outside corner for called strike 2, 2-2 the count. We mentioned that those strikeouts, and it's something that obviously he's been doing very well this season. 30 strikeouts and 22 1/3 innings pitched. Koval towing the rubber from the left side. Comes set in the stretch, fires, swung on. High fly ball down the first base line over at Andrew Alvarez. He's making the call for it and grabs it right in front of the net on the first base line. And so that'll do it for the first inning. And at the end of one half inning of play, I should say, it remains scoreless between the Heat and Pirates. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. And welcome back as we head to the bottom of the first inning. It's Greg Turner on the mound for the High Desert Heat, 5'11", 165 from Peru State, where he will be a junior next season. A lot of Peru State players on this High Desert Heat team. Leading off is Fernando Escobar, who takes strike 1, 0-1 the count to him. Greg Turner, before that, went to College of the Desert and made 14 appearances for them, 3.32 ERA, 62 innings pitched, 41 strikeouts his sophomore year. This pitch is bounced over to the right side. Backhanded grab made by the second baseman. Throw to first just in time. Just barely got Fernando Escobar at first base, who is speeding down that first base line. So Escobar is retired. The starting lineup for the Pirates is Escobar, Reynoso, Alvarez, Garlic, Virgin, that's Nathan Virgin, Christian Kelly, George Ortega, Henley, and Padlo. Meanwhile, in the field for the Heat, it's Glass, Smith, and Aguila in the outfield going left to right. Going left to right in the infield, Leon, Booman, Garrison, and Lujan. First pitch is swung on and fouled back at the screen by Johnny Reynoso. And Cloak is also behind home plate for the Heat. Reynoso comes in batting .333, .422 on base percentage. 9 runs scored and 5 RBIs. Johnny Reynoso led the team in RBI last season with 10. Very, very clutch hitter is number 5, as this one misses high on a fastball, and it's 1-1. And something that I've noticed throughout the season is that he always seems to be in the middle of big rallies for the Inland Valley Pirates. Let's see if he can start one here in the very first inning. Still no score. Bottom of the first inning, 1 out. Breaking pitch on the outside corner, called strike 2. And it's 1-2 to Johnny. Johnny, 5'11", 185, left-handed hitter, headed to West Texas A&M next season. A very, very strong Division II program. They were only 2 wins away from the World Series this past season. And fouls this one out of play. So we'll do it again. Another 1-2 pitch to come. On deck is Andrew Alvarez, and in the hole, should somebody get on base, Kyle Garlick. Kyle Garlick looks like a very special hitter from the one time we got to see him. Looks like he swings a really good stick. He, of course, is from the University of Oregon. But Johnny Reynoso still at the plate. The 1-2, Swan, and this one's fouled as well. Over towards his brother in the dugout. His brother, of course, is Aaron. And Aaron just kind of in gym shorts and a Pirates shirt, so it looks like he's not planning on playing in either game of the doubleheader here today. Here comes yet another 1-2, and this one misses outside for a ball. And it's 2-2 here to Johnny Reynoso. So Johnny Reynoso doing what a good top of the lineup type of hitter does, extending the pitcher, seeing a lot of pitches for the dugout, getting a sense of exactly what kind of repertoire Greg Turner has. This one swung on and lined up to the right side, and the play is not made over there at second base by Garrison. It was a hot shot by Reynoso, but a ball that I'm sure Garrison would say that he has to catch, and an error on the second baseman. But this is something that we're talking about when we talk about how Johnny Reynoso kind of starts rallies. He doesn't necessarily always get hits. I mean, he does get lots of hits when you look at the .333 batting average. Obviously, 1 hit out of every 3 times he's up there, but he gets on base. He finds a way, any way possible, to get on base, and that's what makes him so deadly at the top of the lineup. This pitch is a fastball in the inside corner in there for called strike 1 to Andrew Alvarez. Alvarez just named the pitcher of the month in the SCCBL, deservingly so, beating the power 2 times, pitching well against San Diego. He's 4-0. Bounces this one on the right side, right at the first baseman, Sergio Lujan. Lujan over to second, and the shortstop loses the ball in transition, says the second base umpire, as the dugout and the Pirates was kind of trying to say that the shortstop over there, Booman, made an error. But I agree with the umpire right there. So Alvarez reaches on the fielder's choice. It's going to be 3-6 on that fielder's choice. And there's 2 down here in the bottom of the first inning, and Kyle Garlick at the plate. Kyle Garlick is 1 for 2 on the season. This is just his second game. Looks like a very, very good hitter for these Inland Valley Pirates. Played for the University of Oregon and swings the first pitch he sees, and it's into dead center. And the catch is made out there by Smith to retire Garlick for the final out of the inning. So at the end of 1 inning of play, it's scoreless here at Cal Poly Pomona between the Heat and Pirates. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. And welcome back to Cal Poly Pomona as we head to the top of the second inning. Dave Soberai on the play-by-play. So glad you've joined us here on InlandValleyBaseball.com for a doubleheader featuring the Pirates taking on the Heat. Very big doubleheader. SCCBL league matchups here today. Ronnie Leon comes up to the plate for his first at-bat. Swings at the first pitch he sees and lines it down the left field line for a base hit, and he will hold up over there at first base. So another leadoff single here for the Heat. They got a leadoff single back in the first inning, and Connor Garrison got as far as second base before Michael Koval retired the next 3 hitters. Got a ground out to the first baseman Alvarez, a strikeout and a flyout to Alvarez. Here comes Seth Walston. Seth Walston was a member of the Riverside Rebels last season in the SCCBL. Also a member of the Diamond Valley Sabres 2 years ago in the SCCBL. So another veteran, just like Caden Glass in this league. Swings and misses at the first pitch he sees, 0-1 the count. Speaking of his veteran status, last year in Palm Springs for the All-Star game, he had a very, very special day. He was the Home Run Derby champion and All-Star game MVP. Takes this one inside, and it's called strike 2, and it's 0-2. So Walston falls behind to Koval. Koval trying to obviously retire the side again, just like he did in the first inning after giving up a leadoff hit. Came back and got the next 3 batters. Leg kick, and here's the pitch. And this one misses well outside for ball 1. 1-2 the count. Here's the pitch, and it just misses outside again. And it's now 2-2. So Michael Koval kind of trying to nibble on the outside of the plate, trying to catch the hitter Seth Walston fishing, but to no avail so far. Here comes the 2-2 offering. This one swung and fouled out of play. So we will see a 6th pitch in this at-bat from Koval to Walston. Koval, talking to him, he likes all the Chicago teams. He's a Bears fan, Blackhawks, Bulls, Cubs. Favorite player, Greg Maddux. Called strike 3 on the outside corner. Nice breaking pitch there for the second strikeout of the game for Michael Koval, and the first out here in the second inning. So 1 away, top of the second inning. No score between the High Desert Heat and the Inland Valley Pirates. Here comes Sergio Lujan, the first baseman. Very, very large right-handed hitter at 6'5". Here's the pitch. Swings and misses, and actually foul tips it off the home plate umpire's mask. And he actually lost his mask temporarily and is nodding his head that he's okay. I think Michael Koval actually asked him if he was okay. So that's just good sportsmanship out there by Koval. And you can tell talking to him, he's a really nice kid, a really good kid. We mentioned that not only talented on the field, but we mentioned that he was also a member of the National Honor Society in high school. So obviously talented in the classroom as well. Checks the runner at first, leg kick and pitch, swung on, and that one was once again foul tipped, and it's 0-2. This one rolled right into the glove of Christian Kelly. We had an interesting play yesterday between the Bucks and the Legends, where the guy definitely looked like he went, but the home plate umpire, to his credit, said that he didn't go. Nice stop by Christian Kelly. That was about a 57-footer in the dirt. Kelly making sure to hold the runner at first base there. But the home plate umpire did say that he didn't think the guy went, which I was astounded by when I saw it. when I was calling it, I called it a ball because I saw the home plate umpire do that. And then Kevin Bowler, the manager for the Buccaneers, came out to argue after what he thought was the third strike, swung on and missed strike 3, and down goes Lujan. That is the third strikeout of the game, second in a row for Koval. But going back to that Buccaneers and Legends story, Coach Bowler came out and argued, well, that's the third strike. And the umpire said, no, it's just strike 2. The first one was actually a ball. The hitter did not go. And what ended up happening? That hitter ended up getting a hit, and the Legends ended up scoring a run. Of course, then the Buccaneers had late inning heroics in the 9th, as Nathaniel Acosta had an RBI sac fly to knot it up at 1 apiece. And they ended up playing a 10th inning and ended up tying. First pitch, fastball, calls strike 1, 0-1 the count to Curtis Cloak, the catcher for the High Desert Heat. Just another beautiful day for baseball in Pomona. Here's the pitch. And that one's in at the knees, called strike 2, and it's 0-2. Michael Koval, really with a propensity to get ahead of the hitter, which is obviously is always a good thing because now he can throw some waste pitches and try to get him to chase at something out of the zone. That, of course, is what he tried doing to Walston. Ooh, this one just misses. Christian Kelly trying to frame it for a called strike 3, but to no avail. The home plate umpire not biting, and it's 1-2. Definitely a great location for Koval on an 0-2 pitch. Very small lead off of first base by Ronnie Leon. And this one comes high and tight as Curtis Cloak jumps out of the way of it, and it's 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Deuces running wild here in the second inning. No score between the Pirates and Heat. This one swung and fouled out of play behind home plate. So we'll do it again. Another 2-2 pitch to come. 6th pitch of the at-bat. So a lot of these Heat hitters taking Koval deep in the count. Although Koval is the one who is starting ahead for the most part. We've seen a lot of 0-2 counts for Koval. Here's the 2-2. Checks his swing, but it's called a strike. So Michael Koval strikes out the side here in the second inning. That is his 4th strikeout of the game. And at the end of 1.5 innings of play, it remains a scoreless tie between the Heat and Pirates. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. To the bottom of 2 we go, and a scoreless tie between the Heat and Pirates. Dave Soberon, the play-by-play. So glad you've joined us for Game 1 of this doubleheader for the SCCBL. Here is Nathan Virgin. Virgin hitting .325 on the season. Takes strike 1 from Greg Turner, and it's 0-1 on an off-speed pitch. Of course, Nathan Virgin, the younger of the 2 brothers here on this team. Takes a fastball low and away for ball 1, and it's 1-1 to Nathan. 6'0", 180-pound right-handed hitter. Headed to Cal State Monterey Bay, where he'll be a junior next season. Fastball swung on and missed, and it's 1-2. On deck is Christian Kelly. In the hole, George Ortega. So all 3 of these guys that we will see in this inning, returning players for the Inland Valley Pirates here in 2014. Swings at this one and drives it down the right side, just foul. A good play made over there by the first base coach, Coach Espinosa. 2-2 the count here to Nathan Virgin. Here's the pitch. Swan and fouled straight back at the screen, so we'll do it again. Another 2-2 to come. And the 6th pitch of the at-bat to come to Nathan Virgin. Mentioned that .325 batting average, maybe even more impressive than the .325 batting average, is the .440 on-base percentage. He has been very, very good all season long. Here's the pitch, and it misses inside for a ball to Nathan Virgin. Lay kicking, here's the pitch. Swung on a high fly ball out into deep right field. Ranging to his left and making the catch is the right fielder Aguila. for the out here. So that'll be the first out here in the second inning. And up comes Christian Kelly. Christian Kelly hitting .333 on the season, .380 on base percentage, 10 RBIs and 6 runs. The 10 RBIs are the most on the team. First pitch to him is called a strike that paints the black on the outside corner, and it's 0-1 to Christian Kelly. Christian Kelly, an SCCBL All-Star last season, 6'0", 185-pound right-handed hitter. Checks his swing and holds up, and it's ball one. 1-1 the count. Of course, Kelly transferring to Cal Poly Pomona, and he is now here at Cal Poly Pomona for his second season next year after going to UC Santa Barbara previously. It looks like we were having a bit of technical issues, and now we are reconnected to our stream. We apologize for that. So if you were eagerly and patiently awaiting for us to get back to being connected, we are now reconnected, as this is a weak fly ball over to the first baseman, Lujan, and he makes the grab, so down goes Kelly. Not quite sure how long we were away for, so we apologize for that. It looks like we lost connection at 2:35, and it's 2:39 right now, so obviously, hopefully, you didn't miss too much, and hopefully you just missed what happened here in the bottom of the second inning, which hasn't been so much so far. Nathan Virgin flew out to right field, and Christian Kelly flew out to the first baseman. Called strike in the outside corner to George Ortega, and it's 0-1 here to number 20. George Ortega from Lewis and Clark State, where he won an NAIA World Series. Takes low for a ball. He is the designated hitter here in this game, 5'10", 190. Right-handed hitter. Majors in criminal justice over there at Lewis and Clark State. Lake kicking, here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled out of play behind home plate by Ortega. Well, Ortega this past season hit .325 for Lewis and Clark State en route to winning that NAIA World Series. So a very, very good season for him. He's been a good player pretty much throughout his career, which is why he got that scholarship out there to Lewis and Clark State. This one swung on and fouled out of play down the right field line. So now Ortega is going to have to protect the plate with a 2-strike count here. We talked about and referred to how good he was before even he went to Lewis and Clark State. Well, at Rio Hondo Community College. Swings at this one, and it's a fly ball over to the right field. Will it get down? It just drops in fair territory, and it gets down, and now it gets past the right fielder, and Ortega sliding head first into second base with a double. And it looked like he kind of face planted over on the dirt, as some of the dugout kind of laughed over there. So actually, we're probably going to end up calling that a single and an E9, because the ball landed in fair territory right in front of the right fielder Aguila, but then it got past him, and it probably shouldn't have gotten past him. And so Ortega advances to second on the error, and here comes Nolan Henley. Henley batting .222 on the season, left fielder. We were starting to tell the story about Ortega, who's now in scoring position at second, and how well he did at Rio Hondo. Well, at Rio Hondo, he hit .356 and had a .412 on base percentage, and was an all-Foothill Conference selection. So he was obviously very, very good at the junior collegiate level as well. First pitch called strike one to Nolan Henley. 5'11", 175 right-handed hitter from the University of Laverne. Of course, one of Henley's good buddies is on this team as well, and Brett Early, a pitcher for the Pirates. Here's the pitch. And, ooh, this one's called strike two, and it's 0-2. It was an off-speed pitch that was kind of hanging high in the zone. It looked like Henley really didn't like that call. Seems like Henley's had a couple tough calls in recent games. Turner checking the runner at second, no one holding on. This one is bounced to the left side by Henley. It's going to be in fair territory. Barehanded catch made by the third baseman, and he fires in one fell swoop sidearm. Does Ronnie Leon. Wow, what a nice play made there, especially considering Nolan Henley was running down the first base line and is one of the most speedy players you'll see out here in the Summer Collegiate League. But Leon does his job and gets Henley out, and that'll do it for the second inning. Still no score here from Cal Poly Pomona between the Pirates and Heat. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. To the top of 3 we go in a scoreless tie between the High Desert Heat and Inland Valley Pirates. So glad you've joined us here as the number 9 hitter comes up to the plate, Mitchell Booman, the shortstop for the High Desert Heat. And then back to the top of the lineup in Connor Garrison. First pitch he sees is a ground ball. Routine ground ball hit at Fernando Escobar, who makes the throw over to first base for the first out here of the inning. So 1 pitch and 1 out here in the top of the third inning for the Pirates. That actually broke a streak of 3 consecutive hitters striking out for the High Desert Heat. Of course, Michael Koval remains on the mound for the Pirates, and he's looked very, very good all season long. Looking good again here today. Towing the rubber from the left side of the mound is the right-handed hurler. Working out of the windup, fires. Fastball in the outside corner, called strike 1, and it's 0-1 to Connor Garrison. If you remember, Connor Garrison actually led off the game with a single. Actually, Ronnie Leon led off the second inning with a single. Swung on and missed, and it's 0-2. So this was the first inning that the leadoff hitter did not reach base for Michael Koval. But Michael Koval then retired the next 3 hitters in both innings. Here's the pitch, and this one is in the dirt for a ball. Koval striking out the side in the second, then getting a ground ball to the first baseman Alvarez, a strikeout, and a fly ball to Alvarez in the first. So pretty much the only people who have been involved so far is Christian Kelly with the 4 strikeouts and Andrew Alvarez, the first baseman, with the 2 outs. This one is a foul ball off the ankle of Connor Garrison, who's kind of shaking out that left ankle now and trying to walk it off. We can't say enough about how Koval has just really gotten ahead of the hitters so far here in the first 2 1/3 innings pitched. Really getting them off balance, off kind of on the front of their feet. Changing up the pitches, changing up the speeds. This one is an off-speed pitch, fouled down the first base line, and it's 0-2 still for Michael Koval. We were talking about at the top of the broadcast what a strikeout pitcher Koval really is, referring to his stats back as a senior in high school and, of course, here in the SCCBL this summer. Ooh, this one just misses high and away for a ball, and it's 1-2 here. But it's worth noting again, 30 strikeouts in 22 1/3 innings coming into today. So that would mean in 24 2/3 innings now. This one's swung, broken bat over to the right side, and Jason Padlow has it under control. And down goes Connor Garrison on a ground ball out. So now with 25 innings pitched, overall Michael Koval has 34 strikeouts this summer season. Looking to add to both of those numbers in terms of innings pitched as well as strikeouts. He's now leading the team in strikeouts on the season. Here's the pitch. Fastball in there. Strike 1. Surprise, surprise. As Koval continues to get ahead of the hitter. Hitter here is Anthony Aguila, 0-for-1, grounded out to the first baseman Alvarez. Did he go? The answer is no from the first base umpire. So it's 1-1. Looked like he went pretty far to me, but I guess he just held up. Swung on and missed here, and it's 1-2. On deck is Caden Glass, the SCCBL co-hitter of the week. Co-hitters with Kevin Riley from the Inland Valley Buccaneers. Kevin Riley absolutely raking this past week, 12 for 23. Swung on and missed, strike 3, down goes Aguila. And that is the 5th strikeout here in 3 innings for Michael Koval. We'll head to the bottom of the third in a scoreless game between the Pirates and Heat. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. And welcome back as we head to the bottom of the third inning. Dave Sobera on the play-by-play. So glad you've joined us here today for the first game of what will be a 2 between the Heat and Pirates. 2 teams splitting in Victorville back earlier in the season. It was a 6-4 win in Game 2 for the Pirates and a 4-1 win for the Heat in Game 1. First pitch misses low and away for ball 1 to Jason Padlow, the number 9 hitter in the lineup, also wearing number 9. Then we go back to the top of the lineup, and Fernando Escobar. Fastball in the outside corner, called a strike, and it's 1-1. I love the way that Charlie Reynoso sprints out to third base as a third base coach. Just something that you see at the ballpark. Called strike 2, and is 1-2. As we mentioned, the top of the lineup due up after this. Of course, as a number 9 hitter, you're usually an extension of a leadoff hitter. Let's see if Jason Padlo can find a way to get on base. He's in an 0-2 hole, but takes this breaking pitch low for ball 1, and it's 1-2. Of course, Jason Padlo with some very, very good bloodlines, baseball-wise. Leg kick, and here's the pitch from Turner, and this one's blown away for a ball. His father, John, played in the Giants farm system. Grandfather played in the Yankees farm system. And they are both currently scouts for those two organizations. This one swung and fouled out of play down the right field line. So another 2-2 to come for Jason Padlo. Sixth pitch of the at-bat here for number 9. Here's the pitch. And fouls this one back, so he will see pitch number 7. Also, his brother just signed a Major League Baseball contract and is now playing in the minors. So congratulations to his brother Kevin. Here's the pitch. And it misses low and away for ball 4. Jason Padlo doing exactly what a leadoff type hitter would do. Falling behind to count. And then working the walk anyways, and really earning that walk was Jason Padlo right there. And so the leadoff man is on board for the first time today for the Pirates. And now you turn the lineup over to Escobar, Reynoso, and Alvarez. Escobar, left-handed hitter at the plate, takes high for ball 1 on a fastball, 5'10", 165, from San Francisco State. He was, of course, a member of the Fullerton College team that went to the Junior Collegiate Championship, Southern California Championship, a few years back. Called a strike, and it's 1-1 to number 1. They did lose in that game, but obviously a very, very good team that year. He also received a Bud Dawson Memorial Scholarship Award, which is a very, very good honor. Oh, a pickoff throw, and it gets away from the first baseman, Lujan, and Padlo digging into second, and he's going to head to third. And Padlo is now going all the way to third base on the error by the pitcher. Wow. And that's something that has kind of plagued the Heat over the last couple of years if you watch them play. If something happens down that first base line, Sergio Lujan is really not the most fleet of foot over there. And actually, it looks like he's even lost some weight this year, but in the past, I just remember anything hit kind of a few feet away from him, usually he can't get to, so he's pretty slow out there, to put it in a good way. The infield is in now with the runner on third base. That is Jason Padlo. Here's the pitch. Called strike 2 to Fernando Escobar. Mentioned they earned that Bud Dawson Memorial Scholarship Award, which is one of the top honors that you could possibly receive at Fullerton College. Here's the pitch. Swings at this one. It's a fly ball into shallow left field. It's going to be trouble. It's in that Bermuda Triangle zone. And here comes Padlo to the plate, sliding head first. He's safe. So that'll be an RBI single for Jason Padlo, who advances to second on the throw. And it's 1-0 Pirates. So a lot of stuff happening right there for that last base hit by Fernando Escobar. First of all, it was a towering fly ball into shallow left field. We mentioned it was in that sort of Bermuda Triangle zone where it's kind of hit in the middle of the shortstop, third baseman, and left fielder. Left fielder going a long way but couldn't get there in time. It was also hit over the head of the third baseman, Leon. Scoring around is Reynoso and trying to lay it down the third base line, but to no avail, and it's 0-1 as he fouls this one. Trying to sacrifice over Escobar to third. But because the ball was kind of a bloop hit, well, it wasn't kind of, it was a bloop hit, the third baseman, Leon, picked it up off the one hop and threw a dart back to the catcher, Cloak, and almost got it there in time to tag out Padlo. But Padlo made the nice sliding play over at home plate. This is a breaking pitch in the dirt for a ball to Reynoso. He slid it to the inside of home plate, head first, away from the catcher. Here's the pitch, squaring around again is Reynoso, and this time he gets it down, but it just hit off the edge of the infield grass. That was a bad luck right there for Reynoso, because it hit off the edge of the infield grass and then went foul. It's funny because you don't see that happen too often, and it's now 1-2, so a tough two-strike count here for Johnny Reynoso. Reynoso did reach base in his first at-bat on an error by the second baseman, and then was thrown out on a fielder's choice by Andrew Alvarez. Reynoso adjusts his batting gloves and digs in, ready to see a 1-2 pitch. Don't figure, he's squaring around again, even with 2 strikes here. And now he brings it back and tries to slash hit and fouls it out of play down the third base line. I was just about to say, I don't think that we would see him try to still lay a sacrifice down with 2 strikes. But believe it or not, we actually saw him do that against the Power. And it wasn't a sacrifice, it was a suicide squeeze, and it worked. Squaring around again, though, and then once again slashing and fouling it down the third base line is Johnny Reynoso. I wonder how he determines whether or not he's going to slash. Like, obviously, what I'm just wondering is there a certain pitch that he'll see and maybe he'll still try to lay one down? Well, we're about to find out, as the corner infielders are still in here for Reynoso. And this time he's not showing bunt, and it's an off-speed pitch outside for ball 2. 2-2 the count. So the Pirates starting to see a lot of pitches here for Greg Turner. It's really a good thing or a good sign of things to come. Want to just, basically wear down this first pitcher. This one's swung on line, drive down the right field line. Will it stay fair? It's just foul. If that was fair, that was definitely going to be an RBI base hit there. And Reynoso was surely going to be at second base, trading spots with Escobar. Of course, if you could trade spots, he would love to do that, because that would mean Escobar scores, and then Reynoso would be in scoring position as well. 1 run in here in the bottom of the third inning on an RBI single by Fernando Escobar to left field. Escobar advancing the second base on the throw home. Jason Padlo was the man who scored. Turner checks the runner. Escobar at second. Now fires home. And this one's way out of the zone, high and away for ball 3. And so Reynoso having a very, very good at-bat, showing a lot of discipline, also protecting the plate to perfection. And now has a full count pitch. Payoff pitch to come. Let's see if Turner goes fastball here and Reynoso can get into one. No, he goes off speed, and this one swung on as fouled, but it's playable for the third baseman Leon, who makes the catch. And so down goes Reynoso, and that'll be the first out here in the bottom of the third inning. And here comes Andrew Alvarez to the plate. Andrew Alvarez, 6'4", 230. Hitting .431 this season, .472 on-base percentage, and 10 runs scored, which is the second most on the team. First pitch is a breaking pitch on the outside corner, called a strike, and it's 0-1 here to Andrew Alvarez. Alvarez, of course, originally starting his career at Pepperdine before transferring to Orange Coast College, where he contributed to a junior collegiate state championship there, along with Greg Espinoza, who's also on the team. And now heading out to Houston Baptist for his final 2 years, a D1 school in the Southland Conference. Turner checks the runner at second. Nobody holding on Escobar, and this pitch misses low for a ball. On deck is Kyle Garlick. In the hole, Nathan Virgin, should we get there. Alvarez ahead of the count right now after a couple balls in a row here. See if he can get into one here. Turner fires, and this one's outside, and it's 3-1. So 3 balls, 1 strike here to Andrew Alvarez. 1 out, bottom of the third inning, and 1 run in here in the inning on the RBI single by Escobar. Let's see if Alvarez sits dead red on fastball. It is a fastball, but it misses high for ball 4. 5-pitch walk drawn by number 19. And so now there are 2 runners on base here for the Pirates. And the newest member of the Pirates, Kyle Garlick. Garlick is 0 for 1. Hit a line drive out to the center fielder. Time called for by Charlie Reynoso, as he will meet Garlick about halfway in between home plate and third base and kind of go over exactly what they want to do in this situation here with 1 out and 2 men on. Clearly, with your cleanup hitter, I don't think it's going to be a sacrifice situation. We've seen the Bucks actually try to do that with 1 out, try to still sacrifice runners over. But with this guy at the plate, I don't think you're going to see that. It's a guy who has played at University of Oregon for the last 3 years and is transferring here to Cal Poly Pomona to be closer to his mother, who has been diagnosed with cancer. Obviously, we're hoping that she gets better. Here's the pitch from Turner. Off-speed pitch in there, called strike 1, and then it's 0-1. On deck, Virgin. Nathan Virgin. With the 2 brothers, you got to always specify which one it is. Here's the pitch. And it's fastball low in the dirt. And it's 1-1 here to Garlick. Alvarez is on first base. He drew a 5-pitch walk. On second is Fernando Escobar, who has the RBI. And at the plate, Kyle Garlick. Turner checking the runner, fires, breaking pitch, called strike 2. Garlick really didn't like that call, and it's now 1-2 to him. Garlick will be number 44 once he gets his own uniform. Right now, just using a previous uniform from last year that they had made out, the Pirates did, for Seth Gill, who was a catcher last year. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on, fly ball, foul, and out of play behind home plate and into the parking lot out there. And now it sounds like it hit a car out there. Dangerous spot to park in when you're so close to a baseball field. Here comes another 1-2 pitch. 5th pitch of the at-bat for Kyle Garlick. Fastball outside, ball 2, 2-2 the count. Well, the Pirates are really hoping to take advantage of these 2 men on right here in the 3rd inning and try to almost put this game away early if they can. Jump out to a big lead in the 3rd inning. It would be a very good thing for them. This one is bounced up the middle. The shortstop ranging and making the catch, but can't make the flip over to second base. And now it gets away from the second baseman, Garrison, and in comes Escobar to score, and it's 2-0 Pirates. So the way I think that's going to end up being scored, I believe you would score that as in, it was kind of a fielder's choice, but the play couldn't be made, so that might end up going down as an infield hit. But then an error on the shortstop, who tried making the flip over to second base, and it got away from Garrison, the second baseman, and then that allowed Escobar to score. So Garlick now on first base and Alvarez over there at second, and Escobar scoring. As the Pirates now have 2 runs in the inning and still only 1 out. And here comes Virgin. They're kind of working over second base now as second base came dislodged on the last play. Nathan Virgin set for his second at-bat. Flew out to the right fielder in his first at-bat, so he's 0 for 1. Here's the pitch. Squaring around and trying to lay one down is Virgin, and he fouls it behind home plate, and it's 0-1. Maybe he just saw something out there with the corner infielders, thinking that maybe he could catch them unaware and try to bunt for a hit there. Or maybe they might have been trying to sacrifice there. Although there is 1 out, but if you do sacrifice and get both runners in scoring position, you have your leading RBI guy on deck. He might be able to drive him in. No, he's hitting him all the way here. Line drive in the center field, straight at the center fielder, Smith. and he makes the catch for the second out. So a couple of fly ball outs to the outfield for Version, one to right field and one to center field, and he's now 0 for 2. And here comes Christian Kelly. Kelly's 0 for 1, flew out to the first baseman, Lujan, in his first at-bat. We mentioned leading the team in RBIs. He does have a man in scoring position right here in the form of Andrew Alvarez, who was walked on a 5-pitch walk. Alvarez taking a large lead off second base. Off-speed pitch in there for called strike 1 on the inside half, and it's 0-1 here to Christian Kelly. Christian Kelly's hometown is Chino. Went to Don Lugo High School, where he was the league MVP and hit .434 his senior year. Swings at this one and bounces it to the shortstop on the 3-hop. He has it under control and fires across the diamond for the final out. So Booman making the good play there, making up for the previous play where he tried to make the flip to second, and maybe he probably should have just tried to throw Garlick out at first. So at the end of this inning, Pirates on 2 hits, score 2 runs, and 2 errors by the Heat. And the Pirates take that 2-0 lead at the end of 3 innings. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. To the top of 4 we go in a 2-0 ball game. Pirates on top of the Heat. Michael Koval, the right-handed pitcher, remaining on the mound, facing Caden Glass, who takes ball 1 on the inside, and it's 1-0 to Caden Glass. Taking no time to pitch the second pitch here in the inning, and firing in there for strike 1 is Koval, and it's now 1-1. This is the heart of the lineup here for the High Desert Heat. 3, 4, and 5 to come. This one is fouled by Caden Glass behind home plate, and it's 1-2, which is his number. He wears number 1-2. Here's the pitch from Koval. Swung in line to the right side, one hopper over to Jason Padlow, and he catches and fires to Alvarez for the first out here in the 4th inning. So Michael Koval cruising, especially over the last 3 innings. He has retired the last 7 hitters he's faced for the Heat. Has 5 strikeouts and 3 1/3 innings pitched so far in this game. Late kick, and here's the pitch. Fastball just low, ball 1, 1-0 the count here to Sean Smith. Smith is 0 for 1, flew out to the first baseman Alvarez back in the 1st inning. Here's the 1-0, and the 1-0 misses low for ball 2, 2-0 the count. So the first time in a while that Koval has fallen behind a hitter. I don't think he fell behind a hitter at all back in the 3rd inning or the 2nd. Off-speed pitch swung on and missed, and it's 2-1. He really made the hitter look silly on that last pitch. I guess the hitter, Sean Smith, was guessing fastball. Koval did not throw a fastball. Called strike 2 on the outside corner, and it's 2-2 now. So Koval, after falling behind 2-0, gets 2 strikes on the outside. Let's see if he maybe tries to go back inside. No, he's going back outside. A fastball that misses low and away, and it's a full count. 3-2 the count to Sean Smith. Swung on and missed, and that is strike 3. So that is the 6th strikeout now here for Michael Koval, and the 8th consecutive Heat hitter retired. And that pitch, Sean Smith really can't figure out that pitch because he looked kind of silly swinging at that twice and like almost trying to hold up on a check swing, but going way too far. Here comes Ronnie Leon, a returning player with the High Desert Heat. He's 1 for 1 with the single. He takes inside, but it's called a strike, and it's 0-1. Leon actually playing for head coach Jesus Beltran at Victor Valley College for his first 2 years. Breaking pitch in the dirt, and it's 1-1. Of course, Jesus Beltran, he is the manager at Victor Valley College, which is why the home games for the Heat are played there at Victor Valley. Here's the 1-1 offering. Fastball on the inside, called strike 2, and is 1-2. So Michael Koval hoping to retire his 9th consecutive hitter right now if he can get Leon. Here comes the 1-2 offering. Bounce right back at Koval, but it gets past him. Backhanded grab made by Padlo, and he fires sidearm to Alvarez for the final out here in the 4th inning. Nice backhanded grab off the short hop by Padlo. And so that is the 9th consecutive hitter retired by Michael Koval, and it remains a 2-0 game. Pirates on top of the Heat as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th inning in a 2-0 game. Pirates on top of the Heat. Obviously a much different look today here for the Pirates after getting blown out 11-2 by the Buccaneers, a team they had beaten the previous 6 times. And pretty much every game the previous 6 times were way out of hand for the Buccaneers. First pitch is an off-speed pitch, called strike 1 to George Ortega. And it's 0-1 here. Literally, in the previous 6 games, I seriously don't remember one save situation for the Pirates. They might have had one, maybe. But that's about it. And if they did have one, it was a 3-run game. Breaking pitch, low and away for ball 1, 1-1 the count. Of course, the Buccaneers playing much better as of late. They had won 3 of their past 4 games. This one swung on and fouled to the right side and out of play for strike 2. They had won 3 of their past 4 games before tying last night, so in the last 5 games, only losing 1. 1-2 the count here to George Ortega. Here's the pitch. Bounce to the right side over towards the second baseman, Garrison. Garrison losing it temporarily and now overthrows the first baseman. He has been having a really tough day over there at second base, and the ball went into the dugout, so Ortega is going to be awarded an extra base, and he will now be at second after the error on Garrison. He looks really unsure of himself. He's not getting in front of the ball the way he should. He's trying to make backhanded play on a ball that you easily could have just fielded the proper or normal way there. Didn't look like it was hit hard enough for him to have to go for the backhanded grab. So then he lost it. But he still had time to throw Ortega out. Sacrifice laid down to perfection by Nolan Henley. He might beat this out for an infield hit, and it is an infield base hit on a bunt by Nolan Henley as Ortega advances to third. And there was pretty much no doubt about it the second he laid it down. Absolutely a perfect bunt down the third base line that Greg Turner really had no chance of getting to and throwing out a guy like Henley. Because Henley, we've mentioned this before, he has jets. Just watching him play in the outfield and getting to some of the balls he gets to, he makes it look routine out there. That might be something Henley tries to do a bit more of, as the first pitch is an off-speed pitch called strike 1 to Jason Padlo, so it's 0-1 to him. Maybe he tries to bunt more for hits over the next few games. Because if you can lay it down that well, and you have his speed, there's not too many people who are going to be able to make that play. Second pitch is fouled out of play by Padlo, and it's 0-2 to him. Back in the 3rd inning, he led off the inning with a walk and wound up scoring on the RBI base hit by Fernando Escobar. This one swung and fouled once again out of play to the right side behind home plate. So Padlo's set to see pitch number 4 in this at-bat with runners on the corners and no outs here in the 4th inning. Pirates hoping to break this one open if they can. Especially considering where you are in the lineup with no outs and runners in the corners. This one's grounded, though, to the third baseman, Leon, and he was on the infield grass. He fires home, and George Ortega is now caught in a rundown. Ortega trying to keep it alive to allow Henley to go to third, but Henley stays put at second base, and Ortega is tagged out. So Padlo's now on base, reaching on the fielder's choice. Henley advanced to second. And up comes the top of the lineup, and Fernando Escobar. Escobar coming into today was .289, .360 on-base percentage, 6 runs scored, 4 RBIs. Obviously, with an RBI and a run scored today, those numbers go up to 7 runs scored and 5 RBI for number 1. He takes low for ball 1, 1-0 the count. You look at that 360 on base percentage, very good for Fernando. Runners are off, swung on and missed, throw down to third base, and Henley is dead to rights there. And Charlie looks a little frustrated. I assume that was supposed to be a hit and run. And Escobar couldn't make contact with it, so really left out Nolan Henley to dry. And it's 1-1. So the Pirates having a few mistakes here. They still had 2 runners on and only 1 out. And they try the hit and run with Escobar, and he can't make contact with it. So Henley gets thrown out at third base, and now there's 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th inning. Called strike 2 to Escobar. Obviously, the inning is not over yet. There's still a runner in scoring position in the form of Badlow, and Escobar at the plate, who already has an RBI single. And he lines this one down the right field line, and that is going to be fair. Rounding third and coming home to score is Jason Badlow. Fernando Escobar digging into second with a stand-up double. And so Fernando Escobar with 2 hits and 2 RBI here, and his last 2 at-bats for the Pirates, and it's 3-0. So it's tough that Henley was thrown out on the what we assume was a hit-and-run attempt, because he may have been able to score 2 runs on that last play. Obviously, Henley would have scored from second. This one is fouled off by Johnny Reynoso, and it's 0-1. Question is, did Badlow have enough speed to maybe score from first? But that was hit right down the right field line. And I think he might have been able to score on that. But woulda, coulda, shoulda. Nonetheless, the Pirates do get another run, and it's 3-0. High and away, ball 1. 1-1 the count here to Johnny Reynoso. So Fernando Escobar now is 2 for 3, I should say, with a run scored and 2 RBI. This one's lined straight back from where it came from, up the middle for a base hit by Reynoso. Escobar rounding third, and he's going to come home to score. And that is an RBI knock for Reynoso, and it's 4-0 Pirates. So Johnny Reynoso with the RBI single. We mentioned earlier in the broadcast that he actually led the team in RBIs last season. And when we talked about it, this was going back a couple weeks maybe, he just said that I said he was clutch, and he kind of just laughed. And here comes Andrew Alvarez. Alvarez reached on a fielder's choice in the first and walked in the third. He takes low for ball 1, 1-0 the count. So this is the first time that he's actually been ahead in the count. The previous 2 times he fell behind 0-1 on off-speed pitches that looked like they might have been outside to me. This one misses low and away for ball 2, and it's 2-0. A little bit of sloppy play from the Heat. A lot of players in the outfield kind of bobbling balls. Catcher just bounced the ball back to the pitcher. Here's the pitch. Fastball high and tight for ball 3, and it's 3-0 here to Alvarez. See if maybe they let him swing at a 3-0 pitch. Green light him here. 3-0. Fastball right down Broadway. Taking all the way was Alvarez, and it's 3-1. Three hits, 1 error, and 2 runs scored here in this inning for the Pirates. And this is a towering fly ball to deep left center field. Sean Smith on his horse, and he will make the catch 5 feet in front of the wall to retire Alvarez here. But the damage was done as the Pirates do get another 2 runs, and they double up the score, and it's 4-0. Pirates on top of the Heat. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. And welcome back as we head to the top of the 5th inning. First pitch from Michael Koval misses low and away for ball 1. 1-0 with the count here to Seth Walston. Walston 0 for 1 with a strikeout looking. Koval delivers, and this one misses inside for ball 2. 2-0 the count here. Well, Michael Koval, he has set down the last 9 hitters for the High Desert Heat. Going back to Seth Walston, he was the one that started that streak for the Heat, or a very bad streak at that for the Heat. Koval misses low here, so now Walston ahead 3-0. We mentioned that Koval is a guy who really has been able to get ahead of the hitter all day today, but now is behind 3-0 on a guy who won the home run derby last year. And he swings at the 3-0 and fouls it down the first base line, 3-1 the count. So a hitter's pitch to come here for Seth Walston. Not only was he the home run derby champion, and we had the chance to broadcast that home run derby, and it was absolutely amazing what he did, the left-handed hitter, for the Rebels last season, now obviously with the Heat here today. But he was also the All-Star MVP. Here's the 3-1 from Koval. Swung, towering fly ball to deep center field. Left center at that. Nolan Henley making the catch out there right in front of the Cal Poly Pomona sign. And so that is just a long fly ball out. And the 10th consecutive hitter retired now by Michael Koval. Michael Koval has just been cruising here for the Pirates, and he's been great all season long. We mentioned at the top of the broadcast in his 22 and a third innings pitch, he had 30 strikeouts, obviously adding to those numbers today. This one swung foul down the first base line and out of play. 0-1 the count here to Sergio Lujan, another returning player for the High Desert Heat. Another guy that packs a lot of pop behind that bat. Large right-handed hitter for them. Here's the 0-1 offering from Koval. Misses inside for ball one. 1-1 the count. So obviously this is a huge, huge day for the High Desert Heat. Here's the pitch, and this one is bounced foul down the third base line. At 3-5 in league play, they have to make a split here today to stick in the hunt for the third place and to potentially make the playoffs. If they get swept here and fall to 3-7, it would be very, very challenging to come back. Breaking pitch low for a ball, especially considering that 4 of those games remaining are against the Power. And 2 are against the Bucks, who have played a lot better. Strike 3 swinging, and that is just another strikeout for Koval. Koval, he is on fire here today. 7 strikeouts in 4 2/3 innings pitched, and has retired 11 in a row now. And really, it's funny, you look at it, and he gave up a leadoff hit in the first inning and a leadoff in the second inning. Fastball swung, and this is a towering fly ball behind home plate. Will it be playable for Christian Kelly? Kelly chasing it and overruns it. And it's 0-1 here now, as it looked like Kelly might have even hurt himself a little bit, but he was walking back to the plate. I think he's apologizing to Koval, who's kind of laughing here, as Kelly is one of the best catchers you will see behind home plate as a defender. Take my word for it. That is something that you don't normally see him do. But it's 0-1 here. Koval, leg kick, fires, swung and missed, and is 0-2. Curtis Cloak is 0-1 with a strikeout here today. This is the number 8 hitter in the lineup for the Heat. Here's the pitch. Fastball away, ball 1, 1-2 the count. And we mentioned it, but this is what Koval has been doing pretty much all game long. The only guy he fell behind was Seth Walston, and he still retired Walston, who had the long fly ball out into left center field. But this one is blown away in the dirt, 59-footer, and it's 2-2 here to Curtis Cloak. Wonder if the 2 catchers at the plate had anything to say to each other. Maybe Cloak giving some words to Kelly after Kelly couldn't catch the fly ball behind home plate. Wow! Off-speed pitch on the inside corner, froze the hitter, and down he goes. And that is strikeout number 8 for Michael Koval in just 5 innings of work, and he has retired the last 12 hitters now as he heads back to his dugout. And at the end of 4.5 innings of play, the Pirates continue to lead 4-0 over the High Desert Heat. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. And welcome back as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. 4-0 the score. Pirates on top of the Heat. So glad you have joined us here for this SCCBL doubleheader featuring, of course, the Inland Valley Pirates as well as the High Desert Heat. Leg kick, and here's a pitch from Turner, and this one is fisted by Kyle Garlick down the first base line, and Turner will grab it and step on the bag himself for the very rare one-assisted put out there. So down goes Kyle Garlick. Up comes Nathan Virgin. Virgin is 0 for 2. A couple of flyouts to the outfield, one to right field and one to center field. Virgin coming into today was hitting .325. Obviously, with an 0 for 2 performance, that has fallen a bit. But if you can get a hit here, it goes back up. Low and away, ball 1. 1-0 the count here for Turner. Turner's a guy that we've seen in the past here in the SCCBL for the Heat. We've seen him do a good job and really is an innings eater. I think his best performance, I think a lot of people would agree with, was when he pitched against the Palm Springs Power and only gave up 1 run in 8 innings there. He ended up losing that game, though, as this pitch was way outside for a ball. Late kick, and here's the pitch. Fastball swung on and bounced to the left side right at the third baseman, Ronnie Leon. He gathers himself and fires a dart across the diamond for the second out here in the 5th inning. So 2 up and 2 down here for Greg Turner as Christian Kelly steps up to the plate. Kelly is 0 for 2. Flew out to the first baseman and grounded out to the shortstop. Kelly, of course, an SCCBL All-Star last season. Here's the pitch. Swings at the first pitch he sees and lifts it into shallow center field. That's trouble, but it is trouble. I was going to say, but the second baseman, Garrison, has it, but he loses it, and he has had a very challenging day at second base, to say the least. That is now the 3rd error. So Connor Garrison with 3 errors alone. And we're talking about ground ball errors, we're talking about throwing errors, and we're talking about now fly ball error. So 3 completely different errors. We saw that happen to Michael Johnson in right field, actually, for the Pirates against the Buccaneers on Monday. First pitch called a strike, and it's 0-1 here to George Ortega. But those were 3 fly balls. It was kind of in his head. And the 3rd time, he was almost cowering at the fly ball, and he lost it for a 3rd time. This one's fouled straight back by Ortega, and it's 0-2. Of course, no bat boys here in the SCCBL, so the on-deck hitter is the one that will have to pick up that foul ball and toss it back into his dugout. In this case, that's Nolan Henley. Nolan Henley, of course, had the single on a bunt back on the 4th inning, and that was laid down to absolute perfection down that third base line. And forget about it when Henley gets down a bunt like that, because he has the Jets. Here is Ortega awaiting a 2-strike count, so he will have to protect here. Here's a pitch from Turner, and this one's lined into right field over towards the right fielder, Aguila. Aguila makes the grab right on the foul line. And so down go the Pirates here in the 5th inning. They'd have one-man reach on the error, but the Tide is retired by Turner, and it remains a 4-0 ball game at the end of 5 innings. Pirates on top. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. Welcome back. 4-0 the score. Pirates on top of the Heat as we head to the top of the 6th inning. 9-1-2 in the lineup is where the High Desert Heat is. That is Booman, Garrison, and Aguila. First pitch from Koval, high and in, and almost hit the hitter. But he got out of the way. And it's 1-0 here to Booman. Michael Koval has been very special on the mound here in Game 1. Fastball misses low, though, and it's 2-0. Just dealing all game long. 5 innings so far, 8 strikeouts, 2 hits, and has retired the last 12 hitters he has faced. Pulls a string there, swung on and missed, and it's 2-1. And you hear those numbers, and those are good for the duration of a game, for a 9-inning game. High fly ball lifted to shallow center field, and that is the first runner to reach base in 13 hitters. It's a bloop hit out in the center field that Nathan Virgin actually started back on, and then it was too late to adjust to and come in on and make the catch. And maybe a little bit of a sarcastic cheer right there from the High Desert Heat dugout, as they do have somebody on base for the first time since the 2nd inning. So Booman, he'll go to 1 for 2 on the day. And here comes Connor Garrison. Garrison 1 for 2, but has struggled mightily in the field today with 3 errors. Here's the pitch, and he lines this one in the right field, so that's going to be a base hit. 2 in a row now for the Heat, as they're looking for a little bit of momentum. But you see, that's why he's obviously in the lineup as the leadoff hitter. He has 2 hits here. He's 2 for 3 as Garrison. So he has half of the Heat hits in this game right now. 2 of the 4 hits. And here comes Anthony Aguila. He's 0 for 2. Grounded out to the first baseman Alvarez and struck out back in the 3rd inning. 2 men on, no outs. Corner infielders in. Scoring around and now bringing it back is Aguila as the pitch missed low for ball 1, 1-0 count. So it had been smooth sailing for Koval. Now all of a sudden gives up 2 consecutive hits, and out comes Charlie Reynoso, and he's calling the corner infielders in, and actually the entire infield in, as the middle infielders Padlo and Escobar were kind of hanging out at their post originally, and now they join Coach Reynoso as well as Koval, Kelly, and everybody else at the mound. This is interesting here because for the first 5 innings, Koval has really been dominant. And we talked about it at the beginning here in the 6th that he had retired 12 consecutive hitters. Then all of a sudden, 2 consecutive hits. One of them was just a bloop hit to center field, so it wasn't hit very hard. But the second one was cracked down the right field line. And now, of course, in an SCCBL matchup, everything is magnified a bit more. So Charlie Reynoso comes out for a mound visit to kind of just maybe settle down Koval, who has fallen behind 1-0 on the count here to Anthony Aguila. Aguila showing sacrifice bunt again, squaring around, but now bringing it back, and he's going to bounce it up the middle to the shortstop, Escobar. Escobar can only make the play to first, and so they retire Aguila. But basically, the job was done by Aguila, who now has advanced both runners into scoring position. So even though he's not bunting, he tried to basically slash hit. It was a high chopper, and so Escobar couldn't make the play at second and had to just get the given out at first. So now the Heat have 2 men in scoring position with 1 out here in the top of the 6th inning, looking to get back in this game. First pitch, swung and fouled by Caden Glass, and it's 0-1 to him. And Caden Glass, this is the guy that you want up at the plate if you're the High Desert Heat. He is the co-hitter of the week in the SCCBL, so certainly a guy that you want up at the plate is number 12 for the Heat. Today, though, he's 0 for 2, struck out in the 1st and grounded out in the 4th. Koval set at the hip, checks the runner at 3rd, leg kick, and fires. Swan and fouled again by Caden Glass, and it's 0-2 here. Caden Glass not shy when he swings. Really takes some big cuts. The right-handed hitter from Peru State. Number of players on this High Desert Heat team go to Peru State, including Seth Walston and the pitcher Greg Turner. Here's the pitch from Koval. Fastball misses away for a ball, and it's 1-2. Kind of a purpose pitch, maybe just trying to catch Caden Glass swinging at something out of the zone. You always talk about on the 0-2 count, you want to throw something about 12 to 18 inches off the plate. You don't really want it to be hittable for the hitter. Here's the pitch. Called strike 3 on the outside corner. Froze Caden Glass, and down he goes for the 2nd time of the day as his head is kind of hunched over, and he walks back to the 3rd base dugout. So that is strikeout number 9 for Koval, and the 2nd out here in the 6th inning. There are still 2 runners in scoring position with the cleanup hitter at the plate, Sean Smith. Smith is 0 for 2, flew out to the first baseman in the 1st inning and struck out in the 4th. Fastball high and away for ball 1, 1-0 count. So Michael Koval, you know he feels comfortable on that mound, pitching for Cal Poly Pomona in the regular season, as well as, of course, for the Inland Valley Pirates here in the summer collegiate season. 1-0 on the inside, called strike 1, and it's 1-1. Well, this would be a huge moment right here for Koval. If he could get out of this jam without giving up a run, the Pirates could hold on to that 4-0 lead. Koval. Here comes the 1-1. Bounce foul, and it's 1-2. We mentioned Sean Smith was one of the guys that got signed from the tryouts in Palm Springs on Memorial Day at the very beginning of the season. Obviously being signed by these High Desert Heat. He actually gained the attention of Kevin Bowler, the Inland Valley Buccaneers manager as well, who was interested in signing him. Here comes the 1-2. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Down goes Sean Smith, and that is the now 9th strikeout of the game for Koval. And so a little bit of a jam, but he gets out of it unscathed. Does number 55, and he's getting a handshake from Charlie Reynoso, so I assume that means his day might be over here. At the end of the 5.5 innings, it remains 4-0 Pirates on top of the Heat. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th inning. 4-0 score, Pirates on top of the Heat. This, of course, is Dave Soberi saying so glad that you are joining us here for Game 1 of the doubleheader between the Pirates and Heat. Nolan Henley will lead things off against the new pitcher, Jordan Kelly. Jordan Kelly, 6'1", 165 pounds, from Cal State San Bernardino, where he'll be a freshman next year. If you listened to the Inland Valley Buccaneers broadcast yesterday, not sure if you did or didn't, but we actually had a couple players join me for commentary, and two of them were Bryce Brooks and Mbusi Hlashuayo. Here comes the pitch from Kelly. Fastball in there for strike 1, 0-1 the count here. Well, I asked Mbusi what he knew about this guy Kelly from the Heat, because I thought he was from Cal State San Bernardino, and he indeed is from Cal State San Bernardino, but Mbusi said he didn't know him. So obviously he must be an incoming freshman, as this fastball is swung on and missed by Nolan Henley. Although he did play for the Heat last season, but he must have played as a high school player then. 0-2 the count to Nolan Henley. Henley is 1 for 2. Had a bunt single in the 4th and grounded out to the third baseman in the 2nd. Swings and misses at this one, and so that is strike 3. Down goes Henley. Here comes Jason Padlow. Padlow reached on a walk and scored in the 3rd, and reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the 4th. So you always talk about the number 9 hitter in the lineup as being an extension of a leadoff hitter, and that is what he's done today, starting both 2-run rallies for the Pirates. Pirates getting 2 in the 3rd and 2 in the 4th. First pitch fouled by Padlow, and it's 0-1. Padlow, another Cal Poly Pomona Bronco. He'll be a junior here next year. .328 batting average for them this season, .326 for them as a freshman. So putting up very good numbers on this field. Takes a pitch low for strike 2, and it's 0-2. Well, we heard that this guy, Jordan Kelly, he can go a lot of innings, threw a lot of pitches when it was that 2-day doubleheader in San Diego. Wow, a slow off-speed pitch that freezes Padlow, and down he goes. So 2 batters and 2 strikeouts here for Jordan Kelly. But I believe we were hearing from Team San Diego that this guy made about 160 pitches in 2 days, as the Heat's pitching staff was completely depleted out there in San Diego. Here comes Fernando Escobar and lines it over to the shortstop. His counterpart making the backhanded grab to retire Escobar on the first pitch he sees, and Escobar really has had a great game. The last 2 at-bats, he had an RBI single and an RBI double and also scored. But he goes down here, but once again lining it over to the shortstop. And I said that Charlie Reynoso shook Koval's hand, and it looked like Koval was done, but here he is out there for another inning. So Koval will come back for the 7th as the Pirates lead 4-0 on InlandValleyBaseball.com. And welcome back to the top of 7 we go in Game 1 of the doubleheader. 4-0 the score, Pirates on top of the High Desert Heat as Ronnie Leon comes up to the bat. Michael Koval remains on the mound. First pitch he sees is swung on and fouled straight back at the screen, and it's 0-1. So Michael Koval has absolutely been dealing. We mentioned in the last half inning that he had shaken hands with Charlie Reynoso, so we thought maybe his day was done, but out he comes for a 7th inning. And this one is a fastball that just misses low, and it's 1-1 to number 1-1 on the High Desert Heat. Ronnie Leon, of course, a returning player for the Heat. He's 1 for 2 here in this game. Singled in the second, as this one is swung and fouled back out of play behind home plate, and it's now 1-2. And he also grounded out to second base in the 4th inning. Remember, he made a really, really good play at the hot corner, throwing out Nolan Henley. Going back to the 2nd inning. Fastball swung on and lined straight back up the middle for a base hit. So that is Leon's 2nd base hit of the day. And hits have been really hard to come by for the Heat in this game. They only have 5 in the game. And actually, 2 players have 4 of those hits. Leon has 2, and Connor Garrison has 2. Up comes Seth Walston. He is 0 for 2, struck out looking in the 2nd and flew out to left field back in the 5th inning. He had a very long fly ball out in the left center field right in front of the Cal Poly Pomona sign. Swung on and missed at an off-speed pitch, and it's 0-1. Walston's a guy that has a lot of power. Plays at Peru State. Talked about it previously, of course, winning the home run derby last season. Swings and misses at this one, though, as it's blown by him, and it's now 0-2. And this is something that's plagued him against Koval all day. He's fallen behind, and really now Koval has him guessing. He doesn't quite know what's going to come here. Off-speed pitch, fastball. Now let's see what Koval goes with on the 0-2. Leon with a very, very small lead off first. Fastball called, strike 3 on the outside corner, and Seth Walston did not like the call as he just gives a stare at the home plate umpire and now walks back to the third base dugout dejected. And that is now strikeout number 11 for Michael Koval. So 11 strikeouts in 6 2/3 innings so far. As Sergio Lujan steps up to the plate, a 2-time strikeout victim. And he takes strike 1 on the outside. It was a fastball, 0-1 the count. So Sergio Lujan just hoping to kind of make contact with the ball and get it in play, as Koval has certainly had his number here today. Ooh, good breaking pitch that just misses low, and it's 1-1. We mentioned this doubleheader is huge for the Heat. Obviously still big for the Pirates as well, who are still trying to potentially come in first place in the league. But for the Heat, this is mammoth. This one's swung lined into left center field, and that'll get down for a base hit, and a lot more bases at that. Ronnie Leon being held up at third, and the throw comes into home plate, but he was held up the whole way by Jesus Beltran, the manager for the Heat. So that'll be a stand-up double for Sergio Lujan. So we had just said that Lujan was just hoping to get the bat on the ball, and he did that to perfection. Hit a line drive out to left center. And here comes Charlie Reynoso for the second time, which means that Michael Koval's day is done with 2 runners in scoring position, and Jordan Sheff's coming in relief here in the top of the 7th inning. We'll step away for a few moments as Jordan Sheffs takes his warm-up pitches. And you're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. And welcome back, as Jordan Sheffs is the new pitcher here, inheriting 2 runners in scoring position in the 7th inning with 1 out. First pitch is swung and bounced foul, and it's 0-1 here, going against Curtis Cloak, the catcher, who has been a 2-time strikeout victim by Michael Koval. So obviously Jordan Sheffs is hoping that will continue here. Here comes the pitch, breaking pitch in the dirt that gets away from the catcher Christian Kelly, and in comes the first run of the day to score on a wild pitch. Sergio Lujan advances into third base, and it's now 4-1. Pirates leading the Heat. Jordan Sheff, 6'2", 185-pound right-handed pitcher from UC Irvine, making the trip to Omaha this year for the College World Series. Off-speed pitch in there for a called strike 2. So the Heat get 1 run back here in the 7th inning. Late kick, and here's the pitch. Fastball misses inside for a ball, and it's 2-2. Curtis Cloak is the number 8 hitter in the lineup, so due up next is Mitchell Boomin, the number 9, then back to the top of the lineup for the High Desert Heat. Breaking pitch low and away, ball 3, 3-2 the count, so it's a full count here for the catcher Curtis Cloak. Chefs staring at the catcher's signs. That, of course, is Christian Kelly. Likes what he sees. Fires. Fastball swung on and grounded to the left side and in the hole. And that'll be an infield base hit and a RBI single right there for Curtis Cloak. And it's now 4-2. Pirates still leading. Looked like Johnny Reynoso had a chance to get to the ball, but just couldn't get there in time. And then Fernando Escobar, backhanding it deep in the hole, decided not to throw it and potentially risk making a throwing error. So the Heat get 2 back here in the 7th inning. Up comes the number 9 hitter Mitchell Boomin, who swings at the first pitch he sees and lifts it foul and out of play down the right field line, so it's 0-1 to him. Jordan Chef's going to University High School. He holds their school records for strikeouts, innings, and wins. Here's the pitch. Breaking pitch low for a ball. And it's 1-1. So Michael Koval, his day is now finished, obviously, with Jordan Chefs on the mound. Fastball swung on a miss, blown by the hitter. And that is strike 2 here to Mitchell Boomin. We were talking about it a little bit in the previous half inning, but definitely a huge day for the High Desert Heat to at least get the split. Because if they don't get the split here, they're pretty much out of the race for 3rd place. Breaking pitch low and away. Nice job by Christian Kelly to backhand that ball and to ensure that the runner on first didn't advance 90 feet in the scoring position. Chefs comes set, fires, fastball low for a ball, and it's a full count. So another full count here to come for Jordan Chefs. Curtis Cloak takes his lead off first base. Pretty small lead over there. Fastball swung on and missed, and that is strike 3. So down goes the hitter. That is the second out of the inning. And up comes the leadoff hitter, Connor Garrison. Connor Garrison, 2 for 3 on the day, but really struggling in the field where he's made 3 errors in this one game. And we talked about it when he made the 3rd error. The 3 errors were all different ways, too. First pitch he sees is swung on and fouled out of play down the first base line, and it's 0-1. He made a throwing error, he made an error on a ground ball, and he made an error on a fly ball. So the hat trick, I guess. Here's the pitch. 0-1 bounce to the left side. A 2-hopper over to Escobar, who's charging and fires sidearm. Nice play by Escobar to retire Connor Garrison. So the High Desert Heat get 2 back, and it's now 4-2 as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Pirates on top. It's time to stretch for the first time of 2 here at Cal Poly Pomona. To the bottom of 7 we go. 4-2 is the new score after the Heat scored 2 runs back in the top of the 7th inning. So they cut the deficit in half as Johnny Reynoso is getting set for the at-bat right here and showing that great character that he has, holding the catcher's mitt for him while he gets ready. Jordan Kelly in for his 2nd inning of relief of Greg Turner. Turner's a guy that we've seen in the past go a lot of innings, but he was down 4-0 after 5, so they decided to pull him and go with Jordan Kelly. Kelly pitches, and this is a line drive into center field for a base hit. And so Johnny Reynoso is on board here in the bottom of the 7th inning with a single up the middle. Reynoso reaching base 3 of 4 times. Had the RBI single in the 4th and also reached on an error back in the 1st. And up comes Andrew Alvarez as Charlie Reynoso is now coming to home plate to talk to the home plate umpire. As he's, I guess, making a change. Yes. He's going to actually have a pinch runner here for Johnny Reynoso, and that'll be Anthony Virgin. So Anthony Virgin coming in to pinch run for Johnny Reynoso at first base. And Andrew Alvarez at the plate. Alvarez is 0 for 2. Kelly comes set at the hip and fires. Fastball called strike 1, 0-1 the count. Alvarez flew out to center field on the 4th. reached on a walk in the third, and reached on a fielder's choice in the first. Here's the pitch. Swan, it's a fly ball in foul territory. Will Lujan get to it? No, he will not be able to get to it. It actually landed in the first base dugout. So out of play there for the High Desert Heat, as number 25 was on a relentless pursuit of the baseball, but just couldn't get there in time. Alvarez, of course, the number 3 hitter in the lineup for the Pirates, has pretty much held that spot all season long. So big moments right here for the Pirates to maybe get some insurance runs. In the heart of the lineup, bottom of the 7th inning, 4-2 the score. No outs and 1 runner on. Swan had fouled out of play down the first base line by Andrew Alvarez. So now he has a 2-strike count to come. So obviously he'll have to protect the plate here. Anthony Virgin is the pinch runner over there at first base. Came in for Johnny Reynoso after Reynoso sent one right back from where it came from up the middle. Here's the 1-2 offering. Off-speed pitch called, strike 3 on the inside corner. And down goes Alvarez. Looked like Alvarez didn't necessarily like the call on a very, very slow off-speed pitch. Here's Kyle Garlick. Garlick is 1 for 3. Flew out to center field in the first, singled in the third, and grounded out to the pitcher back in the 5th inning. First pitch to him, swung on and missed. I think that was a fastball. It didn't look too fast, but it was high and out of the zone. And Garlick chasing a bit. Of course, Garlick is the newest member of the Inland Valley Pirates. The former Duck and soon-to-be Bronco. Here's the pitch. Another slow off-speed pitch fouled back behind home plate, and it's 0-2. You wonder if you'd go with this type of pitcher at the end of this game that kind of messed the Pirates' timing up, especially considering who's going in Game 2 for the High Desert Heat. That will be Adam Quintana, one of the better pitchers in this league over the past 2 or 3 years, 3 years now. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball swung and lined up the middle for a base hit by Garlick. And so Anthony Virgin will hold up there at second, and now there's 2 men on base here for the Pirates in the 7th inning with 1 out. And Nathan Virgin at the plate. Well, I'm sure Nathan would love nothing more than to trade places with his brother Anthony. If he could do that, that would be an RBI hit, RBI double. We have another pinch runner, and this time it's going to be Matthew Reynoso, pinch running for Kyle Garlick over at first base. Runner is off very early, and it's going to be a sacrifice bunt by Nathan Virgin. And really, Anthony could have stolen third on that play, but the sacrifice, I guess, is laid down, and both runners advance 90 feet. So now both runners are in scoring position. You almost wish that Nathan had just let that one go, because it looked like Anthony definitely had third base stolen. Now we have Dylan Lowenstein coming up to the plate. So he comes in for Christian Kelly. So Christian Kelly's day is over. He's 0 for 3, so he'll finish 0 for 3, I should say. Lowenstein plays for Mount Sac, just down the road, maybe about a mile away here from Cal Poly Pomona. He's a guy that not only plays baseball, but also dabbles a bit in acting. He's a thespian. He's been in a few commercials, including one for McDonald's. Here's the pitch from Kelly. It's in there for called strike 1. 0-1 the count here to Dylan Lowenstein. Lowenstein is 6'1", 205. Hit .292 with Mount Sac as a freshman. Here's the pitch. Comes inside for ball 1. 1-1 the count. Anthony Virgin trying to maybe get in the head of Kelly. Sprinting hard right when he was about to throw. It's funny because I've seen major league players do that, and sometimes it works. Working out of the windup is Kelly. Fastball Low and away for a ball here. And it's 2-1 to Lowenstein. One of the ones I remember the most with a guy doing that was probably going back 5 or 6 years ago, Casey Blake. He'd hustled down the third base line, and he caused a balk, and it ended up being a balk-off, and the Dodgers won that game. Line drive up the middle. Oh, it's just off the glove of Kelly, who made a nice play to knock it down and throws to first to retire Lowenstein. If that had gotten by Kelly, that would have been a 2-run base hit for Lowenstein. But obviously it's a game of inches, and the inches were in the favor of the Heat right there. And so at the end of 7 innings, it remains a 4-2 ball game. Pirates on top of the Heat. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. We'll go to the top of the 8th inning in a 4-2 ball game. Pirates on top. First pitch misses inside for ball 1. 1-0 the count here to Anthony Aguila. He is 0 for 3 on the day. Jordan Sheffs remains on the mound for the Pirates. This one is a high fly ball. Really a mile high in shallow center field, and it looks like it's a little bit of trouble as finally the shortstop Escobar makes the catch on the infield dirt, right at the edge of the infield dirt and the outfield grass for the first out here in the 8th inning. That was definitely a towering fly ball. Here comes Caden Glass. Caden Glass, he's struggled. He's 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Here's a pitch. Breaking pitch in there for called strike 1, and it's 0-1 to Glass. Reason that's a bit surprising is he has been on a tear for the Heat and was named the co-hitter of the week. Another breaking pitch in there for called strike 2, and it's 0-2. So Chef's saying that maybe he didn't like the first off-speed pitch, comes back with another one on the inside. Let's see what he goes here. Fastball, and this is bounced to the right side. Two-hopper over to Padlo, and he throws to first for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 down here for Chefs in the 8th. And up comes the cleanup hitter, Sean Smith. Smith is 0 for 3. Flew out to the first baseman and struck out twice. So far this season, or at least coming into today, Jordan Chefs in 12 innings was a 1-0 record, 3 strikeouts, 2.25 ERA for the Pirates. Lakegan here's the pitch. Fastball called strike 1, and it's 0-1 here to Sean Smith. Chef's taking little time to go with this one. It's another two-hopper over to Padlo. Padlo once again showing off his good hands and making the play over to first to retire the side in order by Jordan Chefs. At the end of 7.5 innings, it remains 4-2. Pirates on top of the Heat. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. Welcome back as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. 4-2 the score. Pirates on top of the Heat. George Ortega at the plate. He is 1 for 3. Singled in the 2nd inning. Reached on an error in the 4th and flew out to right field in the 5th. First pitch is a fastball outside and low for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Ortega. Jordan Kelly remains on the mound here for the Heat, working his 3rd inning of this game after Greg Turner was the starter. And this one hits Ortega on the left arm. So he will head down to first base, and there will be another pinch runner in for Ortega. So this is the 3rd guy to reach base, I believe, in a row that will be pinch run for. This time it'll be Jacob Bernardi who comes in for Ortega. Here comes Nolan Henley. Nolan Henley 1 for 3, grounded out to the 3rd baseman. Singled in the 4th and struck out in the 6th. If you remember, he almost could have had 2 hits in this game. That ground out to the 3rd baseman was almost like a swinging bunt, and Ronnie Leon made a great play, barehanding it and throwing it sidearm to first base in one motion. First pitch is swung and fouled straight back. And it's 0-1 here, as the on-deck batter Jason Padlo will pick it up. Of course, Nolan Henley from the University of Laverne. 2 Laverne players on this Pirate team and 1 on the Buccaneers. So 3 in the Inland Valley Baseball Association altogether. Squaring around very early is Henley in a sacrifice situation, but this pitch is way high and way inside for a ball. Runs are at a premium when these 2 teams play. Mostly pitching-oriented teams, you'd say, for the most part. Well, especially the Pirates, but for the Heat, they have a couple of good pitchers as well. And the Pirates looking maybe just to get one more insurance run if they could. Henley bunts this one down the first base line, but foul. So Jacob Bernardi will have to head back to first base, as Henley will have to head back to the batter's box, kind of shrugging his shoulders at the dugout as if to say he was kind of bummed out that he couldn't get that one down on the infield grass. Well, you look at Henley and you think that he's definitely a guy who can bunt for a single. I mean, he has a lot of speed. And you also look at the corner infielders for the High Desert Heat, and really neither one of them is most fleet of foot, particularly down the first baseline, which maybe is why Henley tried bunting it down that first baseline. Obviously, Kelly's going to have to spring off the mound if he tries to do that again. Kelly working out of the stretch, comes set at the waist, taking a long time, checking over at first and now firing. An off-speed pitch that misses high and into Nolan Henley. Time called for, as Henley will step out of the batter's box and readjust his batting gloves and check down at third base for the signs from his manager, Charlie Reynoso. 2-2 the count. Seen Reynoso think about laying down a sacrifice bunt with 2 strikes earlier in the game, and it looks like maybe again, no, they're going to try to slash for a hit. And this one is swung on and fouled behind home plate. That's actually what Charlie's son Johnny did earlier in the game too. He was showing bunt early and then brought it back and tried to swing the bat. I say slash, that's really a softball term because you see that a lot, slashing for a hit where you show the bunt and then you bring it back and try to hit it. Basically, you're trying to draw the infielders in and then kind of hit it past them. This off-speed pitch misses high for ball 3, and it's a full count here to Nolan Henley. Nolan Henley among the team lead for runs scored this season. 10 runs scored, which is second on the team. It's actually tied with Andrew Alvarez for second place. It's Greg Espinosa, if you were wondering who has the most runs on the team. Here's the pitch from Kelly. Fastball swung, line drive to deep left field. That is slicing foul. And that was where Nolan Henley hit a home run out earlier this season to the left field fence. And he actually had another fly ball to left field in the last game against the Buccaneers that he took pretty far back there out in the left field. But a nice catch was made by the Buccaneers in that game on a leaping grab out there. So we have another full count pitch to come here between Kelly and Henley. On deck is Padlo. Still no outs here in the bottom of the 8th inning. 4-2 the score. Pirates on top of the Heat. Breaking pitch in the dirt, misses for ball 4. So that walk has definitely earned by Nolan Henley. We saw a lot of pitches, fouled off a bunch of baseballs, and now, as we just mentioned, draws that walk. And there's now 2 runners on base here with no outs in the bottom of the 8th inning. Pirates hoping to extend the lead as we head to the 9th. Jason Padlo at the plate. Padlo is 0 for 2. Struck out looking in the 6th. Reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the 4th. Now he's squaring around and lays one down to perfection right back to the pitcher, Kelly. And Kelly fires over to first base, but the sacrifice was laid down. So both runners advancing 90 feet and into scoring position now with only 1 out and the top of the lineup up. And that's a very good sign if you're a Pirate fan, because Fernando Escobar, he's come through twice with RBI hits, once with an RBI single in the 3rd and once with an RBI double in the 4th, and then also scored after the RBIs as well both times. So Escobar involved in all 4 runs for the Pirates here today. First pitch he sees misses high for ball 1 on an off-speed pitch, and it's 1-0. He'd love nothing more than to be involved in 6 runs here if he could get a hit out in the outfield and bring home both guys. Of course, I'm sure he would also just take a sac fly here. And this is a high fly ball lifted to shallow left field. Caden Glass has it, And tagging up is Bernardi. The throw comes in the home plate. Bernardi sliding foot first, and he's called out. So that's a fly ball out caught by Glass, and Bernardi is tagged out. Didn't look like the catcher ever made the tag, to be honest, but obviously what the man in the blue says goes, as Charlie Reynoso is in disbelief after, honestly, it didn't look like he made a tag to me. It was a close play, though, nonetheless, and Charlie Reynoso will settle for whatever the home plate umpire is telling him here with his hands on his hips and now heads back to the dugout. So at the end of 8 innings, it looked like the Pirates might get one more insurance run, but they just can't get it on the play at the plate. Nice throw made by Caden Glass, but we'll head to the top of the ninth. Pirates still leading by 2 runs. The score is 4-2. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. And welcome back. We head to the top of the ninth inning. 4-2 the score. Pirates on top of the Heat. So the Heat are down to their final 3 outs as Jordan Sheffs remains on the mound for the Pirates. First pitch is a fastball swung and fouled by Ronnie Leon, and it's 0-1 to number 11 for the High Desert Heat. Ronnie Leon is 2 for 3 with a run scored. We mentioned at one point the High Desert Heat had 5 total hits, and of those 5 hits, 4 of them were by 2 players. Obviously, this was one of the 2 guys, but he swings and misses at this off-speed pitch, and it's 0-2 here. Well, the story early in the game was really how dominant Michael Koval was. 6 1/3 innings, striking out 12. This is a excuse me hack. Dylan Lowenstein makes the grab with his bare hand and fires down to first for the first out here in the inning. So we mentioned that 6 1/3, 12 strikeouts for Michael Koval. Definitely held the Heat in check. And then in came Sheffs. And he is looking to close it out here and shut the door on the High Desert Heat here in Game 1 of this doubleheader. Here comes Seth Walston. He takes low for ball 1, 1-0 the count. Pirates got 2 runs in the 3rd inning to take a 2-0 lead. They tacked on 2 more in the 4th, and it was 4-0 at the end of 4. This pitch misses low for ball 2, 2-0 the count. And then the Heat responded with 2 of their own in the 7th, and that's where we stand right now. The score is 4-2. Line drive to the right side. Nice backhanded grab made by Alvarez, who flips over to Sheffs, and that'll be the second out here of the inning. And wow, that ball was struck very hard, but Andrew Alvarez was right there with the backhanded catch to retire Walston for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 down here in the 9th. And up comes Sergio Lujan. Lujan is 1 for 3, I should say. Struck out twice and doubled and scored back in the 7th inning. A lot of power behind this right-handed hitter. Called strike on the outside corner, 0-1 the count. Double he hit was to left center. Right in the middle of the Cal Poly Pomona sign out there. Fastball low, ball 1, 1-1 the count. Jordan Sheffs works very, very quickly for the most part. Not too much time in between pitches. Off-speed pitch on the inside, called strike 2, and it's 1-2 here. So the Pirates hoping to get time called for at home plate. Pirates hoping to get their 9th league win and to improve to 9-4 here after Game 1 of the doubleheader. They're just 1 strike away from doing so. Here's a pitch from Sheffs, swung on and missed, strike 3. And down goes Sergio Lujan, and that'll do it for Game 1 of the doubleheader. The Pirates win 4-2 as the entire dugout will come out and high five here after the first game of the doubleheader. The second game should be coming in about 30 minutes, which, as I look now, it's 4:29, so pretty much exactly at 5 o'clock we figure is when Game 2 will start as the 2 managers meet after Game 1. That, of course, is Jesus Beltran for the Heat and Charlie Reynoso for the Pirates. Pirates still getting some congrats here, but as we mentioned, the final score being 4-2 here, and there are 2 runs that scored in the 3rd. You had Fernando Escobar right in the middle of it. Escobar had the single to left field that scored Jason Padlow, so he had an RBI there, and then he scored later in the inning on an error. And then in the 4th inning, Fernando Escobar had an RBI double that scored Padlow again. and then he ended up scoring on an RBI single by Johnny Reynoso. So that's how the 4 runs scored for the Inland Valley Pirates in this game. We mentioned Jordan Sheffs is the one who closes it out, finishing the game in relief for Michael Koval, who started and went 6 1/3 inning and had the 12 strikeouts. Thanks for listening, and thanks for joining us for Game 1 of the doubleheader. I'm, of course, Dave Soberai saying thank you, and stick with us. We should be back in about 30 minutes for Game 2 for the Pirates and Heat.